On today? Well, today, if you check the title, OpenAI for the death of one of their early workers way before ChatGPT, when ChatGPT was just GPT and it actually wasn't a chatting app, guys. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna react. We're gonna actually see if Twitch will allow me to react to things as it allows Asmon Gold to. So we're gonna react to this and we're gonna upload it onto the YouTube, guys. So hit that follow button. In under a minute, you know what's going on, guys. So I was already a bit into this. I was about, say, 3 minutes into this. A little bit of context. So
when he was within OpenAI, because he had concerns that management will not approve, and he started to question all these when ChatGPT became profit making. As long as it was non-profit, it was okay. He explains in his publication on suchi.net what his views are and why he believes this is copyright violation. And when he started after reinstatement of Sam Altman in 2023.
So he was on lead developing teams and getting paid for coding. He was a young prodigy, super ahead of his time. He was in college, he went to Berkeley, all types of stuff, guys. And he went to say, hey guys, don't you think this is kind of illegal if XYZ or XYZ? And they, allegedly didn't like it, guys. So that's where this is his mother speaking, though. So she's speaking with Tucker Carlson. So let's get the inside scoop.
November 21st was the day he got reinstated. I know it so well because it was Suchi's birthday that day. He got reinstated, and after that, Suchi started thinking about the copyright violation, and he did discuss with me it's very unethical and he feels awful about it. And I said, yes, it's unethical. I agree with you.
So this is the thing is, when you're in tech, most of the average consumer doesn't know much about tech. So you can do things that are unethical, and you can actually sell software that is unethical. And if the average consumer doesn't catch on to what's going on with the algorithms, the database, the information that they're giving, they're not really going to call it unethical. They're not really going to call it spade. So, but that's the thing, the people coding the logic behind it actually know what it's doing. So of course they're going to be the first ones.
What's unethical is using copyrighted material owned by other people for your business, which
artists' work will be lost, their means of living will be impacted.
Yes.
And also he did a research and he published like how the Stack Overflow.
I'm streaming.
And then few other like maybe Quora, few other websites, their traffic is reducing. And he also made a publication in which he explains that the answer given by ChatGPT versus the answer given by Stack Overflow, how unscientific and inaccurate the answer is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When did he leave OpenAI?
He left in August
of 2024.
Yes, third week of August.
So recently.
Very recently.
When did he write his now famous paper about what the management of OpenAI was doing with copyrighted material?
Next day he already had made up his mind prior leaving OpenAI. In fact, in July he discussed with his UC Berkeley colleague that he want to do a startup, and his friend expressed interest. His name is Tyler Zhu. And next day after leaving OpenAI, he went on interview with Canadian news media. We didn't know anything about it. Yeah, we just found out, but based on his call logs, he spoke to someone for 40 minutes after his passing. We called him and found out he was doing this. And it was next day after his...
Okay, what I missed, chat? What I missed?
UC Berkeley colleague that he want to do a startup, and his friend expressed interest. His name is Tyler Zhu. And next day after leaving OpenAI, he went on interview with Canadian news media. We didn't know anything about it. Yeah, we just found out, but based on his call logs, he spoke to someone for 40 minutes after his passing. We called him and found out he was doing this. And it was next day after his last day at work.
Who did he speak to?
I'll get back to you on that.
But he spoke to a reporter.
Canadian news media that sued
Canadian
OpenAI.
news media.
Canadian news media that sued OpenAI.
Interesting.
On October 23rd, his interview was published in New York Times, where he makes a very, very open statement, and he calls OpenAI violates copyright data.
On October 23rd, he was
October
quoted in the New
23rd.
York Times saying that OpenAI violates
Yes.
copyright law.
Yes.
Is stealing other people's material.
Yeah.
Okay. And what day did he die?
I'm sorry?
And what day did he die? No.
22nd November, but we found the body on 26th November.
So 1 month
So-
later, guys. Now, oh, yo. So 1 month later, they got him whacked, guys. It took a month after the interview dropped on New York Times. They said, oh yeah, buddy did that. Oh, okay. Get him the fuck out of here, Knockstar1. And then the person on the other side of the phone was like, all right, sir, what do you mean? What do you? And he said, dog, what the fuck do you think I mean? Knockstar1, spin that bread, put it on his dome. R.I.P. This is crazy, guys. This is alleged too. So, oh my goodness, guys. So this is the tech companies, guys. This ain't the gangsters. This isn't the fellas on the block. This is the real organized crime. Knockstar1 on Vice Instagram. Hit that follow button.
He was quoted saying that OpenAI was committing crimes, and a month later he was dead.
That's not just it. On November 18th, New York Times named my son as custodian witness. Custodian witness is very, very important. He had the documents against OpenAI.
Oh, he had the documents. He had the proof. He had the evidence. They got this nigga up out of here and got his evidence of him. Guys, what is going on today in America, guys? Because AI is gonna be the next biggest thing, but are we getting them out of here? Are we getting niggas killed over technological advances? Come on, guys. And I always say Rome was the first America, guys. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Knockstar1.
That was on 18th. 22nd, he just came back from vacation from LA and Catalina Island the same night. They have attacked him and killed him.
Tell us about what the New York Times wrote on November 18th. He had these documents. What were the documents?
We need to get the documents from New York Times. It's a sealed document. It's not open for public. But we need to become like the estate administrator. My husband will be the estate administrator end of this month. Then we will go and acquire that data, what documents they were. At the moment, we don't have information.
But because you read it in the New York Times, that your son had given journalists papers that he says implicated OpenAI in crime.
Yes, and also on December 2nd, Suchir had an interview planned with Associated Press, Matt O'Brien. On December 2nd, Suchir did not attend. 3rd, they called on his phone. By then, we had his phone. My husband took phone call, and he found out that Suchir wanted to take legal action against OpenAI. He wanted to give the witness. By then, this news was not out yet that Suchir was a custodian witness, but we got it. Then all we did was hurrying up the second autopsy, private autopsy. Moment we heard that this was his initiative and he didn't make it to do that.
So to bottom line it sounds like your son, who's your only child, by the way, and I'm really sorry about that. Your son was in a position to really threaten OpenAI.
Well, it's not, his intent was not to threaten. He just cared about people. He cared about humanity.
He cared about the truth. He was standing up to the truth, because there's ways to train models without other people's data. You just have to you just have to make the data. You have to do your own. That's crazy. They got him up out of here. Knockstar1, guys. What do you guys think about this? We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going.
It's in his article in New York Times as well as in publication. He believes the way the AI is currently without any regulation is a harm to humanity. He stood up for a cause and he lost his life for a cause. He's a martyr. Obviously, he's a martyr. And then he never hesitated. He put his life at risk.
So the official cause of death is suicide. You're his mother. Clearly, you spoke to him a lot. Did you get any indication that he was depressed?
No, he just came back from vacation. He had a very active lifestyle. When we had his memorial service, many of his friends came and they gave the details of when they met him and how many times they met him after he left. He was visiting family. We were going out for dinner, lunch. He was fine, and more than anything else, he had concrete career plans.
Yes. And interviews scheduled.
And he was talking to his friends about making a startup. Guys, when you're starting up a tech company, you have nothing to worry about. If you are starting up a tech company and you got the chicken, you got the money to put up, guys, you know you're about to be up rackades, like millions and millions of dollars. People sell products for $2-3. Gas is $3. They sell tech companies for 7 figures. Guys, Knockstar1 Unbiased Voice Underground, guys. This isn't no drug deal. This ain't no $250 worth of product, right? This is multi-million-dollar deals. You're not worried about nothing. You're definitely not suicidal, guys. So it's crazy that how they can use the suicide. It's ruled as a suicide. Come on, Knockstar1. Let's see what the private autopsy said. Knockstar1, follow up.
Things on his to-do list. Did he ever suggest to you, say to you that he...
Yes, November 16 to November 22nd, there were 5 guys who went, and my son was one of them. All these are his middle school and high school classmates. Some of them are his best buddies. We spoke to every one of them when they came back, and everyone gave an image like he is upbeat. He was very happy. He celebrated his 26th birthday on 21st November, the day before he died. What more do we need to give an account of his happy mood?
Well, exactly. And if you at a certain age, you know people who've killed themselves, and typically, the suicide follows a morose period of isolation. The person's sitting alone in his apartment drinking. He died the night he came back from a camping trip with his high school and college friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Our attorney, he came to his
But was anybody there? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
apartment with us. And moment he inspected his apartment, he said he had fresh supplies ordered. He has so many packets unopened. This doesn't look suicidal at all.
So, and the photographs that you took, which we'll get to in a minute, I just want to say this is not the first time I've been contacted by a family saying, our child is ruled a suicide, but we think it was a murder. I mean, many people have claimed that. I've never seen anything like this before. This is, this should, I think, again, to any fair person, suggest that he was murdered. But let's get to that. So what do you know? He came back from Catalina, and if you don't mind telling us what you know about what happened then. He comes back that evening to San Francisco?
He came around like 11 o'clock. He texted me his flight is taking off. That was on 22nd.
He's texting
And
his
then-
mom, guys. Back and forth. Come on now. Let's be realistic, guys. So it's not really... This is something to look into. Guys, let's get the details.
4:54 he texted saying that it's pouring in San Francisco. And when he got off Uber, leasing office manager, he has apparently seen Suchir coming off with big suitcase and other things. And then Suchir said, yes, I'm coming back from LA. That's somewhere between 1 to 2 p.m. that day. And then he spoke to dad at 7:15 p.m. He was very happy. And Balaji said, like, shall we go to CES in Las Vegas in January? Because it was raining here, dad brought up the concept that, weather will be great in January. And Suchir said yes. And dad gave him a birthday gift.
Gave him a birthday gift.
Because 21st was his birthday. He said he'll send him cash, just a token of love. And Suchir accepted it.
And that's the night he died.
The day he died.
So his last...
City police station, that's where San Francisco. And the dispatch came at 1:09. Until 4 o'clock, we were not told anything.
And then you got a call from the city?
No, that was not how it went. 1:09, two officers came. And they went with the leasing manager, and I'm waiting outside. They didn't allow me inside the premises. I'm waiting outside the complex. Then 113 they have seen, apparently. That's what the report says. They've seen the body. Within 5-10 minutes they came out. And they told me, no, we didn't enter. We're waiting for 2 more officers. We have a security protocol. We cannot go inside. Around 2 o'clock, 2 more officers came.
But they knew your son was dead and they lied to you?
They didn't tell at that moment. Next day, they released the body within 24 hours without doing the complete autopsy. They removed the bullet. They did a CT scan, just returned the body to us. Then we just checked with the funeral home and we discussed with them. And then they also said, looks like, doesn't seem normal. There's something very unusual here. You should do a second private autopsy. That's
The funeral home suggested that.
Yes. And even we were thinking. Both of us were also thinking. Funeral home also suggested. We were shattered, obviously, right? We were completely shattered. We just didn't know what's going on. And seeing our son like that, and they said, like, his eyes are gone with the gun wound. Don't see his face. We couldn't see him.
But the fact that the funeral home, which of course sees dead body,
January 1st. Those packages are missing. When we talked to that neighbor, he said like it's very common that packages get lost. In September, they received a notification that if you see so-and-so man, then let us know. And that tells us a lot about the security. And, like there's a compromise of key, there's a compromise of entrance. All of these need to be investigated, obviously, when there is a murder.
So let's get to the reason that I am anxious to do this interview, which is this report that you commissioned, Dr. Dinesh Rao, and it contains his analysis of the condition of your son's body based on an autopsy, I believe, and it critically contains 7 crime scene photographs that you took in your son's apartment. Is that correct?
That's right. There are 7 evidences that were very critical, which has not been picked up by the authorities. Within 40 minutes, they concluded they haven't even picked up critical things like a bag with blood that has my son's saliva in it. They haven't picked that up. And how could they miss hairs falling all over from the wig?
Right. So that's what I want to get to. So the 2 things that jump out to me, the first thing that jumps out, and it's very obvious from the photographs that you took, is that there's blood all over the apartment. So the official explanation is that your son shot him, and I'm sorry to, I know this is hard, but I think it's important to go through this. The official explanation is your son shot himself once in the head, and the bullet entered the brainstem and extinguished life immediately.
Can I say something there?
Yes.
It didn't touch his brainstem at all.
Oh.
It didn't even touch his brain, and the angle is downwards.
Yes. Well, I'm saying the official explanation is he shot himself once in the head, he died.
Yes.
But these photographs show that that's not at all what happened, because there's blood all over the apartment. There's blood on the door, on the floor, in the bathroom. There's blood everywhere. So
Onyx.
that right there, just employing common sense, tells you that that the person from whom that blood came, your son, presumably, did not have a fatal brain injury, at least when he was bleeding. I mean, something was going on in the apartment,
Yes.
right? The second thing that jumps out.
All right, guys. So there's signs of a struggle. Onyx, I need you to relax, buddy. We're on live. Hey, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Hey. Hey. We're on live, Dubber. You're losing your mind, Dubber B. He's losing his mind, guys. I apologize for that. Okay. Hey, bud. He's crazy. He's rabid, guys. Knockstar1. We got a rabid raccoon. Okay, yep. The mic. Hey. Okay. I understand. Do your thing. Knockstar1. Fucking weirdo. Let's get back to this, guys.
Is that there is a tuft of hair that's
Yes.
not hair.
Angle is-
We're gonna skip
we can
past
see
that.
that coming out behind the door.
Yes.
And that's obvious evidence that no crime scene investigators or police can miss. They just ignored everything that showed murder, and they picked up everything that showed a cover-up suicide.
But how could they ignore? So your son did not. I mean, he was a 26-year-old man with short hair from pictures. He's not wearing a wig, correct?
No, he is not.
Right.
And these hairs are not his. This investigator's analysis looked at the hair from the autopsy pictures, that my son's hair, and this hair, this is not his hair.
And the portion of the wig, the clip-in wig, has blood on it.
Yes.
Okay. So as a non-forensic investigator myself, I look at that and I'm saying that's a well, where did this come from? And there's blood all over the apartment. Right there, I would say this is, maybe it's a suicide, but you're gonna have to tell me how, because that, what is that?
Yeah, the fact that it was ruled a murder, guys. That's what's weird. Is open closed case is weird. They didn't tell her he was dead, and then so in open AI got a lot of money. That's all I'm saying. Knockstar1, hit that follow button, guys. What are you guys thinking?
So we know that we're waiting for further report, but that may not be the cause of death. The gunshot wound is not the cause of death, and probably they might have suffocated him. We don't have any details of that cruelty, but we're waiting for further reports from CT scan.
Why do you believe the gunshot was not the cause of death?
Because it's not touched the brain. It only causes, makes him unconscious.
So the autopsy showed that the bullet did not touch his brain.
Yes, and also since I called a apartment on 23rd at 12:15 p.m., it rang once and it went to voicemail. That makes me believe the killers were still there in the apartment. Again, we need to verify all that. We can do something called geofencing. Through that, we can figure out who was there, who was visiting that complex, and all that information. That's exactly why we need thorough investigation.
You certainly do. You said your son's last browser record is from 10 p.m.-ish?
10 p.m.
And what was he looking at? Do you know?
I think he was looking at a black cat or something. Because last time in Suchir and I met, a cat was going in front of me. And then I told him it's a superstition. And then he was looking at neuroscience topics. And he logged into a website for the, for the startup or something like that. He logged into a website and he was doing some research.
So he wasn't looking up, how do I kill myself?
Oh, no, that's the first thing that we look.
Yeah. Again,
They have been instructed to do this beforehand.
So, okay.
What'd she say?
It makes sense.
It was a cover-up, right? So
Well,
they
it
picked up
sounds like
what they
one.
want to pick up. We don't know if
They
they have been instructed to do this.
They picked up what they wanted to pick up. They don't know if they had been instructed. Okay, so it's either human error or it's intentional, guys. We got to get to the bottom of this. This is very important that we get to the bottom of this.
Beforehand.
So, okay, thank you for describing all of that, and I'm sorry, I know it's awful.
Yeah.
But tell me how the authorities responded, if you don't mind.
Authorities have been very indifferent. In fact, we hired an attorney, a senior attorney. He wrote to Chief of Police, City Administrator, Chief Medical Examiner, Executive Director of Medical Examiner.
Didn't hear nothing back. That's my guess.
He wrote very clearly couple of points. One of them is he was not suicidal. Before making a decision of suicide, they need to take his mental state into account.
I'm not going to lie. No, they don't. I'm not going to lie. That's not the first point your attorney should be making, but we'll hear him out.
Yes.
He has happy pictures. They shared the pictures. He also had them to reconsider it and do the investigation. Chief of Police apparently has agreed to do investigation, but medical examiner stopped it. He said, no, this is suicide. And the attorney came back and said what they said was, oh yeah, the angle looks different. So what? It's a suicide.
A man shooting himself in the forehead from a downward angle. Yeah, okay. I'm not even sure if that's possible, but...
we are going to demonstrate that. We just ordered a dummy gun. We're going to create a dummy of his size, and we're going to demonstrate using the VR.
See, this is crazy that they have to go through this just to get a thorough investigation. They got to do it themselves. That's horrid. That's unimaginable, guys. This is supposed to be the greatest country in the world, guys. We pay tax dollars, guys. $800 billion defense budget a year, guys. But we can't get justice. Knockstar1 on by his voice underground, guys. I'm just saying, don't come for me. I'm not suicidal. Just letting you know.
in the video. We're going to demonstrate to people it's not possible.
Who is the medical examiner who refuses to reconsider a pretty obviously silly explanation for this?
His name is David Hellman.
David Hellman
Yes.
is the San Francisco medical examiner.
But he has been covered by David Sewell, who's the executive director. Every time we call, it's him. And even the news report is given by David Sewell. There's no
David
foul play,
Sewell.
they
And
say.
who is David Sewell?
He's the executive director of medical examiner's office. He is the one who's holding on to suicide despite of seeing all the evidences. He wants to declare it only suicide, nothing else.
What does he make of the bloody wig and the blood splattered in the bathroom when your son was not found in the bathroom? Like, how does he explain that?
He didn't want to listen to it. He didn't want to pay attention to any of the things that we were saying. And you know, the worst struggle here is the first attorney. He was reluctant to help us when he said when medical examiner's office said suicide. He didn't want to fight because they have been threatened, obviously. Then we hired a second attorney. He got a crime scene investigator. And our attorney said, we'll give you explanation of every blood mark. And he came back this Monday and he gave explanation. And none of that explanation he gave corroborates to what happened in the apartment based on what we see. That means even the crime scene investigator was bought.
That's
gave-
crazy, guys. Knockstar1. You pay a second attorney, right? Imagine how much that costs. You got your first attorney, but you pay a second attorney. He pays a crime scene investigator. Your crime scene investigator comes back and says, yeah, they're right. We don't know really much, but it looks like what they're saying could be correct, and if not, it might not be what you're thinking. Which, of course, in his defense, isn't what they want to hear, and sometimes it's their job to tell them exactly that, right? But you guys got a painting of basically what's going on, guys. So I don't know really who Sam Altman is, but we're gonna get into it, and then we're gonna about to shut it down, because I just really brought this up because I want to know what you guys think about this, because I'm personally own a tech company, guys, and I plan on selling it for millions of dollars. I personally don't want it kept, and I'm not suicidal, guys. Knockstar1, hit that follow button. Let's dig.
Is given by David Sewell. There's no foul
David
play,
Sewell.
they
And
say.
who the new mayor is, including a whole bunch of
Everybody is suppressed. No one has come in our favor. In fact, even our attorneys, whom we hired, have been made to tell it's a suicide to us. Every day, from every different angle, there is a push for us that it's a suicide. But we parents, we know, and we want to fight for justice for our beloved son.
But I don't understand on what basis. So your son had just come back that day from hanging out with his buddies. Okay, so which is like a happy thing.
It's
No evidence that he was suicidal whatsoever, and tons of forensic evidence that he was murdered. So on what grounds are they saying it's very likely he killed himself?
okay. That's because of the cover-up. Remember, like there was a gun near him. He owned a gun, and they put a shell casing and 4 bullets near it. They made it look like it. So there are both the evidences, right, for the medical examiner to pick up. He picked up the one that looked suicidal. He ignored the one more, just thorough.
Do not buy new windows if you live
Guys,
in
we
Michigan.
mute all ads. Hit that follow button. I just want to know what you guys think about this. Is crazy.
48 and 49 are
thoroughly investigated. That's exactly Ilyas Astro. He and others, fired Sam Altman, and then all the 700 employees, including my son, wrote a letter or a momentum saying that if they don't reinstate Sam Altman, they're all going to resign. So they brought Sam Altman, they fired Ilya, who's the AI safety expert. And to be honest, few days after my son's death was announced, December 15, Ilya was seen in a presentation in one of the conferences. He had 2 security guards with firearms around him. He was so scared of his life. So we are seeing a mafia behind all these things, honestly speaking.
What were the safety issues that caused?
Evidence.
But no one's investigating.
Meanwhile, we did all the groundwork
Well, I mean,
of the visual information, ABC News.
local.
Now that we just received this evidence today morning, we probably might reach out to some of the news media. Now that we have this evidence, news media will talk to us and help others.
Guys, Knockstar1 on Bias Western on Ground, guys.
Thank you for telling us this.
I really just wanted to get into that, guys, because according to what she said, she's saying open AI mafia, guys. The open AI mafia, guys. Tech companies. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comments.